Hello, Daisy Kate. Oh gosh, what a start. This is Daisy X Machina, the drag queen detective that investigates all things speculative in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And this is a Get Ready With Me where I get into drag to film a video later today. And we have Lynette here. Thank you for being here, Lynette, as always. And how is your reading going this week? I finished reading Slan by A. Van Vogt, and I liked it quite a lot. And I think I'm going to do a video on it today. As I think for the Hugo, the retro Hugos, I'm going to be doing a actual single book review. And this was for 1941. They skipped 1942 on the retro Hugos, and the next one is 1943. I'll probably wait till next week to film that video of picking one book from 1943 because I have so much to read. I've just started the let me look it up. The M. Shaw is the author, and it's a collection of horror anthology of horror stories by M. Shaw called All Your Friends Are Here. And I've read maybe 4 or 5 stories so far. They're very gritty and raw and intense. I think I might have enjoyed these when I was younger. I might have been more well, titillate's not the word because it does like explore certain fetishes. But it's just one of those things where I think if I was younger, I would have enjoyed this more. But it's interesting so far. It's definitely not for everyone. I'll just say that. And yeah, that's it. Frank is here. Yay. Lori is here. Thank you so much for coming, Lori. Finished Mockingbird by Walter Tevis, which was my first 5-star book of the year. Fantastic. I read the Brothers Athelstan Mysteries. Oh, might want to look at them. Lynette is set in the 1300s. Wow. So, oh, John Crow sent me an email today or yesterday that he hasn't been showing up because his wife went through surgery. And John, if you're listening to this, my thoughts are going out to you and your wife because I know that that's really hard. And hopefully we'll see you in the coming weeks. Okay, so my plan was to do pink today because I don't think I've done that in a while. Just all pink. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, they have my bright matte book and there's a whole line of pink. So I'm hoping that I can do a nice gradation. All pink. Because I really don't want to go into red. It just looks so light. Well, I'm just going to use a lot of black, I think, for blending. I was just reading this wild article about bodyoids. Have you heard of that? It's let me look up the article. Apparently we have the technology, or we're close to the technology of of being able to grow human beings um, in artificial wombs and just keeping them brain dead and using the bodies as for organ harvesting. And I'm sure for those of us that are really into science fiction, we've read so many stories that are variations on using human bodies as transplants. That is just wild to me that we're really close to at least being having it feasible. And I actually don't have a problem with like growing organs, but once you start having brains, I don't know. If they could grow a human body, we're nowhere near this technology, but if they're able to grow a human body without a head, maybe. Okay, for the book, Mockingbird is set 100 years in the future. Sometime before reading had been outlawed, and by the time of the story, no one remembers what reading was. Wow. Put those Althusson books on my list, and there are only 5 million people in the North America. Just got an ominous letter from the Social Security admin, so I'm in a good mood. Oh, a man finds some old children beginning to read books and starts teaching himself to read. Well, I mean, the whole big thing is the kidney transplants. My best friend, Sean, I'm sure I've talked about on this stream before, um, has been needing a new kidney for a year. It's been like on a wait list. It has to go through. There's actually I can share with you an article on Sean. He spelled his name Jshon because his parents couldn't decide whether to name him. Was this in Scientific America? Hold on. No, it's in um, it's in Popular Mechanics, and there's a whole article on him about waiting for a kidney transplant in the future of, I guess, artificial kidneys. But yeah, Sean and I went to college together. We moved to San Francisco together. We, I always recommend him books. I recommended him the uh, book that wouldn't burn, which he loved. But he also really loved the Jade Bone, not the Jade Bone, the Green Bone Saga. But yeah, it's really rough if you need a kidney transplant being on the list. And why am I talking about this? Oh, because of the possibility of growing artificial kidneys. But the bodyoid thing, I don't know how I feel about that. I think I had some silver dust on this, and this is like really shiny. So in the oh well. Oh, yeah. But yeah, waiting for kidneys is no good. Didn't they used to there? I think there's been experiments of using like kidneys from pigs. They were talking about that at some point. And they've talked about growing human organs in animals too. I don't know what's ever happened to that. The thing with growing human parts is at least at first it will probably be only for rich people. Yeah. Some people donate their kidneys to strangers. Yeah. Rich get the goods. Yes. Oh, you read a book on the history of railroads. Used to know a bartender who worked at a kidney unit said some people just quit dialysis because they can't take it anymore. Train spotter. That is an interesting hobby. Oh, Laura, your aunt quit dialysis. Yipes. But can they do kidneys is the question. Oh, what am I doing? At least Sean can do it. Well, you can read the article. He can do it at home. They have these home um, kidney centers or dialysis machines, but it's still. I'm intrigued by the concept of an artificial kidney. Wow, this is fluffy. Wrong brush. Let's try that. That's the problem with pink. You can't really ombre as easily. The easiest colors to ombre are green and blue. And I can't really use green much because of the green screen. Okay. Bad movie. What's a bad? Oh, Train Spotter. I thought that was a good movie. Is it the one with Ian, whoever? It's really disturbing. Train Spotting. She passed away years ago. Not from the lack of dialysis. Yeah, yeah. The baby dying in that film, if that triggers you, don't see Train Spotting, but it's very disturbing. She was the fun aunt. Trying to decide whether to watch Mickey 7 this week. Yeah, that's the only thing. 2 hours. I know I'd fall asleep at some point, but Even if I do fall asleep, I you it wouldn't be for long, just, like, maybe nodding off for 10 minutes, but, you still get the gist of the movie. Yeah, you really need to go into black with this pink look. Oh, tomorrow I am going to, this tacos and tamales festival in Las Vegas. I think it's within walking distance. Mm. But it's a food festival with the carnival. But they also have, I think it's fun to watch. I think it's so funny, but it's the Lucha Libre wrestling matches that are, well, like all professional wrestling. It's really fake, but these guys are just so hammy. Okay. I think that's the best we're going to get it. Probably be disappointed because the author said it's quite different from the book. Crowd is rowdy, which I hear is happening. Crowds in theaters. What are you talking about? We don't get rowdy crowds in the cinemas. You like Mexican or Tex-Mex? I prefer Mexican, and I know tacos and tamales is it's mostly Mexican food, not Tex-Mex. Um, because I went there last year, and I like going to Mexico. I enjoy streaming The Mirror and the Light on our National Public Broadcasting channel. I have no idea what that is. Mirror and the Light. I do not know it. Hillary Mantel. Okay, anyway, let me sketch out. Okay. My favorite booktuber says Wolf Hall is awesome, though I rarely read medieval. Yeah, me too. Although a lot of fantasy is sort of set in a pseudo medieval setting. But not so historically accurate. Although if you read the Doomsday book by Connie Willis, that's where she time travels to the during the plague years or the Black Plague. That's especially was well researched. And a decent time travel book. And that's coming from someone that's a little bit picky when it comes to time travel. Okay, let me try this. Press on this neon pink. Okay. Wolf Hall is the Tudor era. Not my favorite time period. It actually isn't medieval. Wolf Hall is great. Tudor period is not medieval. Early modern. I didn't realize that was the designation. What's modern about it? Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, Frank. Why is it called early modern? Oh, you don't like Connie Willis? Broadly speaking, history is divided into antiquity, the Middle Ages, and the modern period. Huh. Okay. This I have some pink glitter to make this pop. You haven't read much Connie Willis. I read Doomsday Book, which I liked a lot, and I read her. Actually, I think it's a fantasy. Um, I want to say Sun and the Moon, but I know it had mermaids in it that were unlike any other mermaid because they're almost like animalistic primate mermaids. Um, and it was set during the court of Louis the 16th or 14th, one of the Louis. Okay. Mm. Yeah, I'm not sure anyone here cares, but I've been enjoying the third season of Wheel of Time. And I haven't really been researching it, but it feels to me as though someone else is in charge. Like every season seems to get better, or at least I enjoyed the second season more than the first season. And this season, it feels as though they'll given up on trying to um, really rewrite the story. Like the story is about the dragon reborn being a cis white man, and the first season they tried to like hide who is the dragon reborn. It could be any one of these kids from the Two Rivers, which didn't make any sense. And then the second season, it was felt as though they were saying, well, all these kids together form the dragon reborn. And now they're just sort of giving up and going back to the storyline because I don't know how I think they realized that they couldn't really go further in the story trying to rewrite it that drastically. If that makes any sense. What I've always said was, if you don't want to write a story about a cis white man chosen one hero, why do the Wheel of Time? There are so many other great fantasy novels that you could choose from. I still really want the Greenbone Saga to be a series. I think it'd be so good as and not easy, but so nice to adapt to a miniseries. Because it is a generational family drama, and those just seem perfect for miniseries. Okay, sorry, I haven't been looking over here. Okay, here we are. Early modern is from 1500 to 1800. Always thought of the Tudor period as a kind of in between. Well, what about like Renaissance? Is that early modern? I mean, I'm more familiar with that term than I am with early modern. Sounds like another history buff here. Oh, this is Tim. Oh, hey, Tim. I didn't see you pop in. I think early modern starts with the fall of Constantinople and ends with the French Revolution. That's a big span of time. French Revolution was so bloody. Hilary Monty wrote books about the French Revolution that her diehard fans say is her best work ever. Oh, that's too bad. I might start my book about Lafayette this week. It's the hero of two worlds. So about both the French Revolution and the American War. Well, I think all history is interesting. I need a mini series to look at before Night of the Seven Kingdoms starts in June. Okay. If you have Netflix, I'm telling you that movie I was talking about called Adolescence. I mean, it's not really. I think it's a mini series. There's like just like four volumes. But I hope it gets all the awards when award season comes because the acting, the cinematography, everything is just so amazing. Okay. I always thought of Renaissance as the first growth spurt of the modern. Okay, it's called Adolescence. It sort of starts as a crime drama. Everything's a one camera view. That means if anyone messed up, if any actor messed up, they'd have to start the entire program over again, the entire episode over. And the acting is just, I mean, I mentioned that one is the main character is I think 11, 12-year-old boy who has this like face of an angel, and he looks, I can't tell kids' ages, but he looks like super young to me. And you just can't believe that he's being accused of this horrific crime. And it turns out it's actually a very modern um, subject matter about, I want to say incest. That's not incel, the incel culture that young men are being subjected to. It's just so good. It is so good. The current series I'm watching is the first thing I've streamed in over a year. Wow. The start of the Renaissance is very close to the fall of Constantinople, so it doesn't matter that much which beginning you choose. Fell twice to Christian knights. Okay. The stuff that's fake. They say there are female incels. I I don't believe it. I just I I can't believe if a woman wants to have sex, she couldn't find it because of how men are. Incel, by the way, if you don't know, means involuntary celibacy. Maybe I'll give that series a go. Not my Yeah, I thought the same thing, Lynette. It's usually not the type of show I want, but it's almost beyond genre. Because I thought it was I was watching a crime, some type of procedural crime show, but it really veered off from that. Now, Frank, it's making me think about involuntary or female incels. I guess if someone's like just never leaves their house, but yet wants to have sex, but they obviously that can't happen if they. I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine a female incel. But we live in strange times, so. Okay, so the word incel was created by a woman to describe herself. I had no idea. I had no idea. I was hoping to watch Night of the Seven Kingdoms with a friend, but she wants to watch it because there's no dragons in it. Uh, she was upset about how the word ended up being used. Or female incel could just be very picky, as women should be, or their development was distorted by religious upbringing. Yeah, I can see that actually. If you have enough, you can pay to. I have no problems with sex workers if as long as they're not exploited. Okay. I think the eyes are about done. Going through this fast today. Am I? I had a friend who wouldn't have liked a relationship but was too scared, or wanted to have a relationship, was too scared. Maybe she was a femcel. Oh, I like that, femcel. Relationships can be scary. Yeah. But when I hear incel, I don't know, maybe I'm totally wrong, but sometimes I think it's just not even a relationship. It's just wanting to have any short-term relationship or short-term encounter. But things are so hard for young people now with the advent of phones and social media. It's hard to imagine for me to imagine growing up in this time. Okay. I think more women than you would think have been scared of relationships by their mothers, their church, or having a very bad experience. A lot of these guys are blaming women, but it's really them. Looked it up. The woman's name was Alana, but she doesn't want her surname to be known. She regrets starting the movement. I've seen so many YouTubers giving advice to women on how to improve themselves, but none for men. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, who are the role models for young men these days? Lord help us if it's who's that weirdo, the Andrew Tate or whoever his name is. One reason I really dislike religion would be one reason I really dislike religion. The world would be very different before Christianity, at least in regard to sex. So now people are taught to be ashamed. Good point. Um, oh, shoot. I mean, one theory about um, why women are historically in many cultures used so poorly, it's because um, men want to make sure that um, their genetic history is being, what am I saying? That they're progenerating. God, I can't talk to you. That they're having children by with their genetics and not some other men. So they want their women to be, or their partners to be chaste. And of course, women have no, there's no question of who their genetic uh, are coming from. What I just said probably made no sense, but I think you get the idea. One thing about A. Van Vogt, because I'm doing a video today on him, um, he had well, like women in like leadership in the military, which I think is unusual for that time period, the late 30s, early 40s. I think the biggest surprise was that he lived till like 2000. The year 2000. But he stopped writing like in the mid 80s. But I know I was purchasing science fiction books during that time, and I don't really remember him releasing new stuff. Okay, anyway. Andrew Tate and Elon Musk. It's role models for men. I don't think Elon is. He's such a Bond villain. Uh, when you're super rich, even a super dog nerd like Elon can pretend to be a stud. He's just so weird. I don't even think young men are like, use him as a role model. Um, she was living in Toronto, Canada, and started the website Alana's Involuntary Celibacy Project for those who are struggling to form loving relationships, simple relationships. Became a forum for men and women to talk about being lonely. Yeah, and again, isolation because of social media and the phones and how the culture is evolving, and that mutated into the incel movement. Large number of kids think the person who raised them is their actual biological dad, but they aren't. I believe the reason that Musk uses IVF to create sons is he wants his genes to spread far and wide, kind of like Genghis Khan. Isn't all of us or most of us in the world right now somehow related to him? I agree. Far easier with sons and daughters. Wealth is the ultimate beer goggles. Uh, yeah, I'm sure he's had work done. He's definitely had hair transplants, Elon Musk. But okay, anyway, let's do some pink lipstick. Okay, so I think I'm going to Another thing I didn't know about A.E. Von Vo is he stopped writing for like 10 years because of L. Ron Hubbard recruiting him to Dianetics during the 50s, 60s. Anyway, um, but then he got disillusioned with the direction L. Ron Hubbard started going, sort of the wacko, mystic, cult-like behavior. I can now channel my inner Genghis Khan. Unless they find Genghis Khan's body, they can't prove he is the ancestor of so many people as his brothers and cousins could have contributed. All they can say is that it was his family line that ended up with so many descendants. Okay. I tried reading Dianetics and had to give up after 4 or 5 pages. Had a headache. I absolutely refused to read anything by Hubbard. I remember when I first moved to San Francisco, it was 1989. I remember seeing like people handing out free copies of Dianetics like on street corners, and don't see that anymore. I mean, with all the negative press Scientology has gotten, it's hard to imagine how they recruit now. I mean, are they actively recruiting? It certainly isn't what it was like in the 70s or 80s. When I lived in New York City, I had a friend who wanted to visit the Scientology Center in Manhattan. I think it was in Hell's Kitchen where she lived. I always worried her husband and I would have to find a deprogrammer. Okay, guys, I think this is the final look. So move this out of the way. I also remember seeing like Hare Krishnas. Um, like at airports and whatnot. But that seems to have died away. But that used to be like a staple, at least of American culture. Okay, so haven't grabbed this wig in a while. There she is. We see Hare Krishnas down here, but haven't seen one in years and years. Almost bought the Dianetics book, but Barnes & Nobles didn't have it. Like I said, they were giving them out for free in San Francisco. Hey, Lori, one of my favorite wigs, was ambushed by the ones at Atlanta Airport. But you can find it in the library. Thank you, Lynette. Little Orphan Annie. What are you talking about? I actually have the a red one, a bright red one that's like this color, but more of an Orphan Annie motif. So yeah, today I'm going to film the review of Flan by A. Van Vo. And I do recommend it, by the way. And I probably won't release it this week. I'll probably release, I have a couple of genre videos I haven't released yet. Probably the one on climate fiction. And yeah, I think this look turned out okay. Okay, guys. Wig reminds Tim of Marie Antoinette. Yeah, it's that look or that shape. Yeah, thank you, Lori, for being here. Thank you, Lynette, Frank, Tim. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Hope to see you next week. I should be here. And as always, may all the books you read be blessed.